Crypto prices rising sharply overnight follows a slew of negative headlines last week, including Coinbase's hiring freeze and Gemini's layoffs. The Winklevoss twins warned the industry might be facing a crypto winter. Joining us now is what investors can expect in the months to come. Angie Lau, editor-in-chief and CEO of Forkast, which covers blockchain and crypto news. Angie, you point out it wouldn't be the first time we saw a crypto winter. There's something that was similar to that. I think you think back in 2017 and 2018. So I guess my question would be, are we in a crypto winter? And maybe just assume that it has been tough. What month are we in? Is it like mid-February, late February? Maybe we're getting close to the end. Is it like March?
Well, it depends which season and which cycle you're talking about. I think we're in a crypto contraction, to be sure, a crypto correction. In 2018, when we saw what a lot of people dubbed as crypto winter, in the throes of the winter, it was chilly. Prices of Bitcoin dropped 80–90% from the high. And now if you take a look at how Bitcoin prices have dropped, we're not seeing the massive downturn that you saw in the first phase of crypto winter, the first iteration of crypto winter, if you will. This time, I think it's much more of a possibly more mature signal of the market contraction. And this is also showing signs of maturity of the crypto market. So which month are we in, Joe? I think it's anybody's guess, but I think there's two things that we should never forget about crypto is that it never ceases to surprise us. And so never be surprised. And crypto will always find a way. And I think this is what the market is reacting to, especially over the weekend. Crypto also never sleeps. And that's also the rule.
The absolute levels notwithstanding, and the relative levels, we always have to, point that out. I mean, 31,000, it might be down, but that's a lot for one Bitcoin. With anyone that's been following it for 10 years, we understand that that's a multiple of where it was. But certainly the notion of a currency or of a store of value or any of these things that people have posited what Bitcoin is, that it is a risk asset. And what does that mean? Does that mean it's bad? Does that mean, oh no, it's not a store of value? Or does it just mean that when there's a lot of money sloshing around, it's going to find its way into a speculative asset like Bitcoin, and when it dries up, people are going to sell Bitcoin to cover margin calls elsewhere and everything else. So it acts just like a speculative asset. Is that good or bad?
You have to take a look at the short-term or the long-term play, and that really depends on your horizon. If you're a short-term player, speculators have moved into this market and really rode it to highs, and really a lot of people were coming in, and that took on a speculative note. For a lot of other people who see the foundational work being built out right now with crypto, with having a utility play, along with, as you've said, speculative or store of value, these narratives keep changing. And so if your perspective of what value is for cryptocurrency is from your perspective, you're either going to be a speculator and it's going to be short-term play. But for the hodlers, for the holders of Bitcoin who see the long-term horizon really spanning out to, as you've said, Joe, this is a finite asset of 21 million. And what is being built on top of that, that's what we're seeing right now. The institutionals are simply just still fractions of the participant in the market. And what we're seeing in terms of robustness, the signals that I'm actually watching are things that indicate much more longer-term foundational plays. Multi-chain NFT data aggregator CryptoSlam, for example, showing that 22 times the investors, unique investors, getting into the NFT space in January of this year compared to the year before. We're seeing blockchain protocols beyond Ethereum like Solana, Polygon, BNB, all of these that are creating value plays and bringing more people into the NFT space because it's more affordable, because it's really growing the market. That is showing us the unique buyers and participants in this market is expanding. Another thing, another huge signal was in Davos. CNBC was in Davos. We were at Davos. And the main promenade, Joe, was all crypto. The brands, they were clear brands, they were clear protocols, and they were having conversations that weren't talking about the crypto winter. In fact, it was quite spring-like weather in Davos, but also it was about what they were building.